All of the elves infighting with each other again and again. What's the point of it when they can just print money with investment banks? Oh my god, we made 72,000. I'm sorry, but what the heck? Oh god, we make too much money. We make way too much money. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Spiffing Brit, and today we're playing Total War Warhammer 2. That's right, Total War Warhammer 3 has just been announced, and so what better time to go back and revisit Total War Warhammer 2. We're going to be playing the game exactly as it was intended. Wait, no, apparently I'm just hearing we're not playing the game at all as it was intended. No, we're going to be taking this grand strategy simulator game and flipping it on its head. If we can turn Prison Architect into a farming sim, then we can turn this grand strategy title into an investment banking and stocks and shares management game. Don't ask how we're going to do it, but trust me, it's going to be one hell of a bumpy ride. So make sure you're sat back, relaxed, you have a nice warm cup of tea in hand, because we're about to break this game with a million exploits that the developers never saw coming. So heck, if you're feeling especially fancy, you can even like this video in advance, as we're about to do something absolutely incredible. Anyway, let's dive into a glorious brand new campaign. So we're going to be starting a brand new campaign, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be playing in the lovely Mortal Empires map. It's really good fun. And naturally, as I mentioned, we'll be playing as the elves. Now, there are a few different types of elves. There's super duper nerd elves. There's super duper fight elves. There's super duper overpowered dragon elves, but no, instead we're going to be playing as Elfarion. Who is Elfarion? Well, he's an elf with a bit of an interesting past, because unlike all other factions in this game, he has access to a interrogation dungeon. I mean, sure, Elfarion, I won't judge your kinks, whatever floats your boat at the end of the day, but this little interrogation dungeon has a few very interesting mechanics. Basically, instead of killing enemy lords and heroes on the battlefield, Elfarion can just instead wrap them up in a little net and take them back to his little dungeon. And then once they're in his dungeon, he can gain various bonuses from them. One of these bonuses is completely and utterly overpowered. It's the bonus to gain 25% of income from the faction that this lord belongs to. But of course, I like to play games in a perfectly balanced manner, and playing a game with infinite money is one thing, but playing a game with infinite money and only using chumpy spear infantry, now that's a fun challenge. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into this game and start a brand new campaign. So welcome to the lovely world map, ladies and gentlemen. We are, of course, Elfarion, leading a battle against all of the orcs and goblins in the world who reside over here in the Badlands. Now, where do the elves come from? Well, the elves come from this giant floating donut in the middle of the ocean, and in particular, we are elves from the lovely fortress of Tor Yverversea. As you can see, I'm fluent in basically all forms of lore when it comes to this game. Now, normally when it comes to actually starting out in this game, you want to immediately march your armies onto all of these lovely AI armies that are wandering around your lands. They're basically free, easy kills. I mean, we could march Elfarion over here to this guy and he'd annihilate him. The only issue is our army is comprised of no spearmen. I know, it's terrible. So instead we're going to have to march Elfarion right back to this little castle here and replace this entire army with only garbage tier spearmen, who are more importantly very affordable. So we're going to delete everyone, and now look at how much money we're making per turn. We're also going to start building up our economy a little bit, but more importantly, it's time to start spamming out spear boys. There we go. Now, spear boys cost 500 gold to actually purchase, but only require 134 upkeep. Yes, they are nowhere near as good as the other units we had in our army, but you know, it's part of the challenge. Equally, we have to do the exact same thing with our army over here. Get rid of all of these garbage range units and replace them with tier 1 spearmen. Now, these spearmen are a little bit better. They come out as level 3 spearmen. Premium indeed. So we can end our first turn. As soon as we have a nice army comprised of lots and lots of spear boys, we'll be able to go on the offensive and start capturing some lords. Now, of course, the AI has decided to attack our one settlement here of Grunty Mingle because we decided to delete our entire army. Now, this is Mash One Finger, the leader of the Top Knots clan, and he's leading an army of absolute chumps against us. Now, this settlement does actually have a nice defensive force, which I will be using, and by using this defensive force, we're going to be able to destroy Mash One Finger. Now, the thing is, whilst the game does want me to just auto-resolve this bad boy, we want to fight this one manually so that we can capture Mash One Eater. In order to capture him, we just simply have to hit him with a net and then manage to kill him within 25 seconds. It's not difficult and it's very powerful. So So here we have it, ladies and gentlemen, a whole bunch of lovely orky boys, all perfectly lined up in front of us. Now, of course, even though we won't normally have access to range units, I will be exploiting my lovely range units today. But most importantly, 90% of our combat will be done using the lovely Elfarian here, because he can just yeet magic. Now, luckily, we start the game being almost entirely hidden, which is going to kind of break the AI just a smidge. Alright, there we go. The AI is now heading towards us. Time for me to yeet some magic. Alright, now we should be able to do a giant sandwich of Mash One Finger here, because we pretty much have him fully encased. Sadly, Elfarian is pretty garbage when it comes to actually being a melee lord, but you know, we have spears. And fantastic, the game says the battle's over, but actually it's not. We still have Mash One Finger to defeat. So we just want to basically set everyone to attack Mash One Finger. Now it is going to take a lot of basically bouncing him back and forth, but as soon as his health is nice and low, we'll whack the Warden's Cage on him. Alright, he's pulling quite low on health, and there we go, that's about 400 health, which means he is probably about to die at any moment. So what you want to do, whack your little cage on him to stop him from moving, and now we have 25 seconds to basically kill him. This is going to be quite easy because the added cage gets rid of all of his armor. So there we go, we should be able to kill him nice and quickly. Come on, 8 seconds. He's got no health, just kill him. 93 health, 4 seconds. Don't you dare fail this. If you fail this, oh thank goodness he's dead. If we had failed that, I'd have to redo the entire battle. But there we go, glorious decisive victory. Mr. Mash One Finger is ours. And here we have it, the glorious battle is complete. We gain a whole bunch of fun little loot. Most importantly, we gain some experience, but now we can decide what to do. Force labor for increased unit replenishment? No, because we are just one person, we can't gain unit replenishment. Instead, we're going to be ransoming our captives. This is going to give us 370 gold, but more importantly, +1 influence per turn, which is very, very important. So we're in a very unique spot where we're basically going to be able to pull off this exploit slightly earlier than I expected, because allow me to present to you one very overpowered broken feature. If you indoctrinate a prisoner, you release them, and apparently you steal 5% of the character faction's treasury per turn. This is actually wrong. You don't steal, you actually just gain 5% of a character faction's treasury per turn. Now this is a very interesting feature for the game to have, because effectively it allows you to create interest, because you're not taking away 5% of that character's faction's money, instead you're just gaining 5% interest on whatever that faction has saved up in the bank. This is insane, because it effectively means we as elves aren't robbing from this faction, we're instead an investment banking operation who's able to poach interest off of this lovely orc's financial savings. That's right, young Timmy the orc here was trained from a young age to store all of his pennies away and give a nice modest 5% of them to any angry elves. So for every orc we get of this faction, we're able to harvest 5% of that faction's treasury per turn, however their treasury won't go down. Now this allows for a very unique exploit, because it means if we were able to put money into their treasury, effectively we're able to invest in their savings and then gain interest off of their savings and make sure that we can stop them from actually ever spending any of that money. We have ourselves an infinite orc-based piggy bank. Now we're in a pretty good position at the moment. The Top Knots clan are about to do an encirclement of our various settlements in the area, but luckily our garrison can scare off Sneak Armbreaker and allow us to focus on the lovely Icky Ironjaw. I just love these orc names, these are incredible. Anyway, in order to gain some money, we're going to indoctrinate our lovely prisoner here and release him out into the wilds. So Mash One Finger is now indoctrinated for us, so we can gain some of that faction's treasury, but now we need to actually capture ourselves another lord. So after a few more battles with the lovely Top Knots clan, we're in a very, very jazzy position, because we've managed to secure ourselves 2 more prisoners. That's right, that means in total we have 3 lords from the Top Knots clan. This is pretty darn powerful, because all we have to do is release both of these lords with the indoctrination bonus, and suddenly we're now gaining 25% of the Top Knots' entire treasury for ourselves. Now one thing we will notice is that the lovely Tomb Kings are kind of marching straight on in here into the Top Knots' territory, and they will probably take out the Top Knots' capital in probably the next few turns, and all we have to do for this exploit to work is just hold on to the final Top Knots' settlement, which is going to be this lovely one here after they lose their capital. And of course, to be expected, the Tomb Kings are sieging down the capital of the Top Knots. This is all perfectly fine because we're gunning for their final settlement here. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the glorious endgame now. The Khemri are sieging down the Top Knots capital, and we have 2 armies moving in a lovely pincer formation of their one remaining settlement. It's going to be glorious. And look at our jazzy spearmen. No longer are these level 1 scrub-nub spearmen, no. Say hello to premium spearmen, now offering 30 melee attack and 62 melee defense. My goodness, they're truly majestic. The best thing of all is we can improve that even further by giving them an additional 10 armor armor. We're going to be whacking on as many buffs as possible to make our spearmen the greatest in the universe. And trust me, they're going to be terrifying. So let's end our turn and then we'll make a move on to this one remaining settlement, hopefully after the Khemri take this. This is it, ladies and gentlemen, the ultimate money-making machine is now in full operation. As you can see over here, the majestic Khemri have done what the Khemri do best, and they've taken control of all of the bad orc territories. This is absolutely fantastic. Good job, Khemri. However, they've left this one territory here, Argul Midgal. Right, we're just renaming this to Swindon because I can't pronounce that. So this settlement here of Swindon is the home to the final orc armies. Now, because the settlement is encircled by the lovely Elfarian, this settlement can and never will build any units, meaning the faction can no longer spend any money. Now, the faction gains 800 gold per turn from this one city, but more importantly, it will gain gold per turn from it just being an AI. Now, as you can see, the game says we're going to make 1,864 gold per turn. However, this is wrong because several of the lords of the Top-Knots clan are actually siphoning their income to us. So instead of gaining 2,000 gold and starting next turn on 44,000 gold, we're going to have a little bit more than 44,000 gold. Now, even more fantastic news, on the last turn the elves decided to sally out of their defenses and try and attack us. Else this might logically not seem like a great move, it's actually brilliant for us because it's weakened their defenses even further and it means they're never going to attack us again. So whilst it says we're going to make 1,700 gold per turn, in reality when we press end turn here we're not going to have 47,000 gold in the bank. Oh no, we're going to be having some spicy profits. Yes, 49,463 gold. So that's basically the amount of money we've siphoned from this faction's treasury this turn. Now, as you know, the way this exploit works is at the end of every turn, the Top-Knots' treasury increases in value. The reasoning behind this is simple. The Top-Knots are unable to spend money, they can't build troops, and their final settlement is besieged. This is absolutely perfect because it means they can never die, and no one is able to reach them. So they can't spend money, they can't die, but they keep gaining money because they gain a natural quantity of gold each turn. And of the gold that they gain, we harvest a lovely percentage interest bonus of 25%. So if these bad boys have 1,000 gold in reserves, we get 250 gold. Of course, these guys have a lot more than 1,000 gold in reserve. Just how much gold do they have? Well, we can see that they have exactly 10,000 gold in the bank, meaning we're able to technically gain around about 2,500 gold per turn. Now, what I want to do is I want to be able to give this faction gold, and the reasoning is simple. If I were to give the Top-Knots gold, they wouldn't be able to spend it, they wouldn't be able to give it to anyone, but I'd be able to gain interest off of that gold every turn. If I'm gaining 25% interest, then in 4 turns I will have basically gained back all of the money I gave them. So what we need to do is find a way to give good old Mash One Finger all of our gold so that we can then gain giant quantities of wealth from him. Now, of course, when it comes to safely investing your money in the lovely world of Warhammer, you always want to put your money in a pair of safe hands. That's why I always choose the Mash One Finger investment bank / hedge fund. He's the ultimate hedge fund manager and the perfect guy for the job of managing your finances. So how do we give someone we're at war with all of our money? Well, firstly, you're going to want to drop down a quick save, then initiate some diplomacy with this bad boy. Of course, we're going to offer him a peace treaty, and then very interestingly, we're going to offer him a payment of all of our money. Now, of course, if we were to send out this peace treaty, we'd immediately go to peace and we wouldn't be able to defend his final settlement. So how do we give him money without the war being declared over? Well, it's very simple, ladies and gentlemen. All we have to do is simply add in a lovely offer of a military alliance. Look at that. Now, of course, if we were to remove the military alliance and the peace treaty, the money also goes away because you just can't give money to someone you're at war with. However, luckily, those two lovely Warhammer content creators, Mercy the Mad and Legend of Total War, combined their prowess to discover this incredible feature, which is that if you simply remove the peace treaty from this deal, the money stays. That's right. Why invest in your own infrastructure and buildings when you can invest in the Bank of Gork and Mork? Please, evil orc who I'm at war with, take this 43,000 gold and invest it wisely. Oh wait, you can't spend it, however, I can gain interest on it. So we give this lovely orc 43,000 gold. He's of course going to accept this very generous gift, and now we're going to cancel out and close on down this deal. Now remember, we're only going to make 2,300 gold per turn. That's all we're going to make. So when I press end turn now, we're going to have 2,300 gold in the bank. No more, no less. Any more and the game might be perfectly balanced and semi-broken. Oh, no, well, it's definitely not that. So we should get a nice normal amount of 2,300 gold in our bank. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. We now have 6,525 gold in the bank. This is slightly bad. Now, of course, what do we do with this 6,000 gold that's just appeared in our banks? Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, you know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go right on down here to our lovely Badlands dwellers. We're going to go over to the lovely Top Knots clan here and offer them another peace treaty, a payment of all of my finances available, and then, of course, a military alliance. We cancel that, bam, give them the gold. Great job, next turn. So let's end our turn, and remember, ladies and gentlemen, 1,950 gold. That's how much money we should be making. But of course, in a perfectly balanced exploiters game, that's not how much we really make now, is it? No, no, no. 6,459 gold suddenly appears out of thin air. So we're going to give our brand new friends yet again another offer of a peace treaty. We'll slide them a glorious payment of 6,000 gold, offer them a military alliance, cancel the peace treaty, give them the gold, and job done. So every turn they give us interest, we give that interest back as gold, and then that gold gains more interest in their inventory. The cycle continues and infinite money can be created. Now once again, he's giving us 7,631 gold, so we're going to offer a peace treaty. We're going to offer him a payment of 7,631 gold, a military alliance, and then it's now just a gift. What a lovely gift it is as well. Because instead of gaining 1,427 gold per turn, oh no, 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 ladies and gentlemen, that's simply too little money. Instead, our lovely Top Knots friend here is going to slam us with a huge quantity of cash. Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's now 8,000 gold in the bank. Basically, every time we make a deposit, the amount of money we get back increases more and more. So the more deposits we make, the more money we make, and the more money we make, the more deposits we make. The endless cycle of infinite wealth has begun. Oh, it's going to be glorious. Now this is it, ladies and gentlemen, because basically we've stun-locked our final enemy to death. There is no way for anyone else to intervene. As you can see, King Burkett here really wants to destroy the orcs. However, he isn't able to, because the orcs will never die. You see, every 5 turns, the settlement reaches a stage where it can take attrition. Now, I've attritioned down the standing army to just 2 units so that their upkeep is severely reduced, and every time this number reaches 0, all I simply do is I swap out the lord who's sieging the territory. Every time that happens, the attrition timer resets, and the settlement will never fall. Equally, as I can do all of that on my single turn, an AI lord will never be able to take the settlement. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. We have our infinite piggy bank. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an emergency announcement from the elven faction. Dear recipient of this message, congratulations! It turned out you have a long-lost uncle who was a elven prince. Thanks to interesting financial situations, he's managed to save a sum of 1,000 gold coins for you to claim at any moment. In order to claim your gold coins, we 100% promise this isn't a scam. All you have to do is like this video and comment, wow, thank you Uncle Elf for the free gold coins. Your 100% non-scam gold coins will be sent to you within 2 to 5 working days. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the money making is really starting to take off. As you can see, the game says we should make 3,000 gold per turn. However, when we end turn here, we make a little bit more than just 3,000 gold per turn. Now remember, 3,000 gold per turn is decent. That amount of money allows you to get a nice army up and running. That's a nice wage, in fact. But of course, we make a little bit more than 3,000 per turn. As you can see, instead of gaining 3,000 gold, we gain 14,000 gold. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So once again, we're going to ask for a peace treaty, offer them a payment of 14,251 and a military alliance, and we'll close that all down. So they get 14,000 gold. Now, of course, logically speaking, last turn we made 14,000 gold. This turn, we're going to make a little bit more than 14,000 gold because we've just made yet another financial deposit. Ah, would you look at that? It's 15,000 gold, ladies and gentlemen. Now, every time we make a deposit, we're gaining around about an increase of 500 to 1,000 gold with each subsequent turn. This quantity, of course, increases the more and more we make deposits. The amount of money we gain each time we make a deposit increases with every passing moment. As you can imagine, this is completely and utterly broken. So it's time for us to make yet another financial deposit, and we'll get a little bit more gold next turn. Well, things are looking pretty good. It's turn 59 and I have 61,000 gold in the bank, and oh dear, I'm losing 641 gold per turn. That's a real shame. That means I'm not making any money. However, I actually am. Hello hello there, Mash One Finger. What if we had a peace treaty and I deposited, I don't know, 61,000 gold into your lovely bank? Ah, yes, sounds good. Let's sweeten it with a military alliance and cancel all of that. Also, guess what? We're becoming good friends with Mash One Finger. Why is that happening? Well, it's because we keep giving him insanely large gifts. Here's 61 grand. It's a copious amount of gold and it's going to make him very friendly with us. Look at that. We're single-handedly fixing elf and orc relations using copious quantities of investment banking strategies. Now, I did make one slight mistake. I accidentally gave away all of my gold so that I have no gold left in reserve. This is not a good idea because it means your forces take attrition, so never ever make this mistake. Otherwise, you just basically waste an entire turn. So yes, the aim is to give away all of your gold, excluding the amount that you're going to lose at the end of the turn. But by giving away 61,000 gold, and bearing in mind this clan now has a copious quantity of gold now in reserve, just how much money do we gain each turn from them? Well, we gain 37,000 gold. Good God, it's insane. So of course, with all of this spare gold, we're going to once again invest it into the orc bank. I mean, they're now giving us 37,000 gold each turn. This is incredible. So naturally, we're going to offer all of our gold bar a few grand, and they'd even agree into entering a military alliance with us. The orcs have joined a military alliance with us. Okay, that's fine. Right, take the 34 grand and be happy. Well, we now get over 55 grand a turn from the orky boys, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to be repeating this cycle over and over again until something majestic changes. Well, it happened. I sailed an army all the way across the ocean and we managed to retake Gronty Mingle using this army here, and immediately we've just recruited a brand new army to spawn out of the ground. This new army will achieve full strength very shortly, and as soon as it does, we'll recruit an additional army to go next to it, because at the end of the day, we can have as many armies as we like because we make so much money. We have 100,000 gold in the bank, so let's go spend some. I think it's time to land another deposit. So here, take 100,000 gold. And a military alliance. Oh wait, that's a lie. Here, take 100,000 gold though. It's fantastic. It's a lovely, generous bit of money, and I can't wait to get all of it back with interest. Oh, I love this game. It's so perfectly balanced. Right, well, let's end turns. So logically, we should go down to 10 grand here, considering the expenses that are being taken out of our account. However, with that brand new investment of money that we just dropped off, we're not going to make a loss this turn. Oh no, ladies and gentlemen. Also, for goodness sake, can my AI stop declaring war on people? These people are just idiots. All of the elves infighting with each other again and again. What's the point of it when they can just print money with investment banks? Oh my god, we made 72,000. I'm sorry, but what the heck? Oh god, we make too much money. We make way too much money. Well, it's time to get the salt production up and running again and get this army built as fast as possible. My goodness, this is going to be one hell of a province when we get it up and running. Well, it's turn 83, ladies and gentlemen. We have almost 400,000 in the bank, and everything's going fantastically. The AI is marching single file armies into our lines of 60 spearmen almost. Yep, there are almost 60 spearmen here, which is perfect because that means we can attack with a giant stack of spearmen. Oh, this is just cyberbullying. Oh, poor little AI, you don't stand a chance against me, do you? Well, what are we going to do with the remaining 390,000 that we have in the bank? Well, naturally, we're just going to give it over to this guy over here. That's right, here, take all of my lovely money. Now, we'll keep about 14,000 of it back, just for safekeeping, but as you can tell, that's a nice copious quantity of cash for us to enjoy. So, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we should be gaining a nice little bit of money next turn. Who knows how much money we might be gaining? Well, naturally, we're now going to gain over 100,000 a turn from our lovely investment banking situation. Oh god, this is too much money. This is far too much money. Oh, I love you, AI. You're completely broken. Oh, this is fantastic. Right, I'll be back in a bit once it gets broken even further. You know what? I'll be back once I've achieved 1 million. How's that? Shouldn't be too many turns now. Well, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Turn 99. We've 990,000 gold in the bank. We are just creating our... I don't even know what number army this is. Okay, this is army number 8, comprised of just spearmen being created and splurted out into this world. And the siege of Argol Midgal is going great, of course. Next turn, though, is an important turn. It's the turn where we're going to manage to generate exactly 1 million for the first time ever. And my goodness, what an incredible journey it's been to get here. It took a whole bunch of effort of setting up supply chains, conquering territories, really investing in infrastructure. Oh wait, no, we didn't do any of that. No, instead, we just went into the stocks and shares trade. And my goodness, is it perfectly balanced. balanced. Look at that, 1.1 million gold in the bank. Truly, it's a perfectly balanced thing indeed. So with our 1.1 million in the bank, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to give all of it to these lovely orcs here, that's right. Our good old banking investment society. Here you go, have a payment of 1.1 million. Dear God, it's insane. Right, 1 million gold given away. We have 100,000 gold in the bank, but of course, if we end our turn, we're going to be gaining a little bit more than 100,000 each turn now. Because effectively, we've pretty much doubled the amount of gold that I'm gonna hazard a guess that they have stored up. If not, we've at least gotten pretty darn close to it. Okay, due to the rate at which we generate money, it now takes us only 5 turns to make over 1 million gold, which is perfect because every time we dump 1 million, that quantity decreases, meaning soon it will only be 3 turns before we can make 1 million, and then one day it'll only be 1 turn until we make 1 million. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. In just 4 turns, we've been able to generate yet again another million. And this is on top of the fact that we're now spending a large amount of money just maintaining our army. We're now up to 9 armies, meaning our army upkeep is increased by 56%, which is getting slightly insane. However, it matters little. Our armies are glorious and perfectly balanced. And my goodness, in a few turns time we'll start our march on the Broken Axe clan, and we'll probably be able to completely and utterly destroy them with armies comprised of just spear units. Anyway, let's make yet another glorious million deposit. So take all of my lovely money and let's see how much money we make after just 1 turn. Remember, we started 100,000 here. How much do we end up with? Well, we don't get well over 300,000 gold a turn. Oh good God, this is insane. Well, I mean, with 400,000 gold in the bank, we might as well just deposit it all again, because I mean, what am I going to be able to spend any of this money on? We make hundreds and hundreds of thousands per turn. It's going to take me a lot to build an army that can even use up the amount of money we're making. Oh God. Right, well, I'll come back to it in a few turns once the money making goes even more wild, and I've built an army which takes up pretty much the entire screen. Oh God, what am I doing? Well, it's turn 125 and, yeah, we're in the death spiral now. We have 200,000 gold in the bank, which is a lot of money in the bank. Quite a little bit of money. But of course now, whenever we end our turn, because we've invested so much money into the top-notch investment banking scheme, things get a little bit funky. Because now we have almost 1 million appearing every single turn. I mean, how? How is this okay? We can defeat every single army that comes our way. Do you want to see just how broken it is? Check out this incredible maneuver that I'm about to pull. We get Alfarian here, backed up by 2 more stacks behind him, and suddenly we have 3 full stacks of spearmen ready to just auto-resolve this giant stack of goblins to death. A skaboosh, and it's an insta-kill. Ah, it just works. But yep, we're the #1 strongest faction in the world because we have unlimited armies, we have unlimited money, entirely just because instead of actually building up an economy base, we just simply give a whole bunch of money to an orc, and then that very same orc, as well as a whole bunch of other orcs, takes the money that they have in a stockpile, somehow duplicates it, and gives us that duplicated money. It just works, ladies and gentlemen. Right, I think I've broken the game. So we have 12 armies in total. Each army is practically identical. It is a lord and then 19 units of bog standard spearmen. Now, of course, if we take 12 and times it by 19, that gives us 228, meaning we have 228 units of spearmen. Now that means, considering each unit of spearmen contains 120 spearmen, and we have 228 of them, that means we have a grand total of 27,360 spearmen. That means, I guess our virtual elven fantasy kingdom is now a horde faction, but more importantly, I'm pretty sure that means they have a larger military force than the entirety of Iceland, and maybe even Scotland. I don't even know at this point. It just seems like a big number. And yeah, we now gain around about 900,000 gold per turn. Yeah, we're never going to run out of money. In fact, we can't even spend all this money. There's just no way for us to do that. No, we've completed the game, in fact. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is how to completely and utterly play Total War Warhammer 2 in a way which the developers never intended. We turned this grand strategy game into an investment banking simulator and took one of the elite fighting forces and made it into a horde faction to rival the Skaven. Honestly, can't wait to get my hands on Total War Warhammer 3, and heck, you know what, if you like this video and comment on it, there's a very real possibility that the traction of this video will be enough to secure myself an early key. That's right, Creative Assembly, wink wink nudge nudge. I can even QA test your game for you early. Wouldn't that be lovely? Anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching. This has been an absolutely stupid challenge, and I really enjoyed pulling it off for today's video. So heck, if you want to see more stuff like this, why not consider subscribing? We'd absolutely love to have you, and make sure to refill your cup of tea. If you haven't refilled your cup of tea, I'm immensely disappointed in you. Anyway, as always, a massive thank you to each and every one of our majestic patrons who make these fantastic videos all the more possible. Seriously, thank you very much. Equally, all of you YouTube channel members. There's now actually quite a lot of you, and I should probably start doing things for you rather than just the occasional secretive poll, so I'll make sure to get something fun prepped in the next few days. Anyway, as always, I'll be seeing each and every one of you in the next one. Have an absolutely lovely day, my friends, and goodbye for now.